We didn't go to the Appalachian woods because we were chasing anything strange. We went because it was familiar. I'd grown up camping in that region, and my friend Aaron had just moved back after years away. That weekend lined up with time off. The forecast was clear, and neither of us wanted crowds or cabins. We wanted quiet, firelight, and the kind of cool night air that makes sleep feel earned. The trailhead was nearly empty when we arrived late in the afternoon. That alone didn't bother me. Winter thins people out, and we'd chosen a less popular route anyway. What I noticed and dismissed too quickly was the lack of fresh tracks. Not just boots, but animals too. The ground was cold, but soft enough to hold prints, and there were almost none. We should have turned around right there. Our campsite was about 4 miles in, off a marked trail, but in a place I'd stayed once before. A small clearing near a creek, sheltered from wind, ringed by trees that felt old enough to mind their own business. Everything looked the same as I remembered, which reassured me more than it should have. Familiarity can be dangerous when you rely on it instead of paying attention. We set up camp as daylight faded, working mostly in silence. The woods felt quiet in a way that was hard to define, totally muted. Sounds didn't travel the way they usually do. When Aaron snapped a branch for kindling, the sound didn't echo or carry. It just stopped. We ate, shared a couple of beers, talked about normal things. At some point, Aaron said it felt like we were being careful without realizing why. He laughed it off, but I didn't. I felt it too. The way we kept our voices low. The way neither of us wandered far from the firelight. That was when I remembered the rules. Not rules written anywhere. Not the internet kind. The ones you learn growing up without being told directly. The ones older people mention in passing and expect you to understand. Don't whistle at night. Don't call back if you hear your name. Don't follow lights that aren't where they should be. And if something feels wrong, don't try to explain it. Just leave. I hadn't thought about those things in years. Remembering them now felt like my body had already noticed something my mind was lagging behind on. The first real moment of fear came when Aaron asked if I'd moved something near the edge of camp. He pointed toward the tree line, just beyond where the firelight faded. I told him no. I hadn't gone over there. Neither had he. There was a shape where there hadn't been one before. Not clear enough to describe. Just a darker interruption against the dark. We stared at it, waiting for it to resolve into something familiar. A stump, a fallen branch, anything. It didn't. Eventually, I told him it was probably just the way the light shifted. I didn't believe it, but I wanted to close the subject. Talking about it felt like giving it permission. We went to our tents early. I didn't sleep much, not because of noises, but because of how aware I felt. Every small shift of fabric, every breath, every movement felt amplified. The woods outside were too still. No wind, no distant animals, just silence, thick enough to notice. Sometime after midnight, I heard something that made my chest tighten instantly. Not a footstep, not breathing, a voice. It wasn't loud. It wasn't close either. It sounded like someone speaking at a normal volume from far enough away that distance should have distorted it more than it did. It said my name. I didn't answer. I didn't move. I just lay there, remembering the rule. If you hear your name at night, and you didn't expect to, no, you didn't. The voice came again, closer this time, but still wrong. too clear, too controlled. From Aaron's tent, I heard him whisper my name, asking if I'd heard that. That was another rule. If you hear your name and someone else heard it too, leave. I whispered back that yes, I'd heard it, and no, we weren't responding. The voice didn't speak again for a while. Long enough that my body started to doubt itself. Long enough that part of me wanted to convince myself it had been an animal, or the wind, or my own nerves. Then it laughed. Not a full laugh, just a short sound that carried no emotion, like someone testing what laughter is supposed to sound like. Aaron didn't speak, neither did I. The fire had burned down to embers, and the clearing beyond was almost completely dark. Another rule surfaced, uninvited. If it sounds wrong, don't try to identify it. The voice started speaking again, but not to us. It repeated phrases we'd said earlier that evening, snippets of conversation. The way Aaron had joked about the cold, the way I'd said we should have brought more water. Hearing my own words come back to me, stripped of context, felt worse than hearing my name. I knew then that we had stayed too long. I told Aaron we were leaving at first light. He didn't argue. He just said, "Okay," too quickly, like he'd been waiting for me to say it. The voice didn't follow us around the camp. It didn't circle. It didn't chase. It just spoke occasionally from different points in the woods, always far enough away that it felt like a suggestion rather than a threat. That's what made it terrifying. Just before dawn, while the sky was still gray and the woods barely visible, it spoke again, closer than before. It said, calmly, that we could stay, that it would be easier. I don't know what would have happened if we'd waited until full daylight. I don't want to. We packed without speaking, hands shaking, movements clumsy. The woods felt different in the half-light, too exposed. When we stepped onto the trail, I felt something close behind us without hearing or seeing it. Just a pressure, like a tension. We didn't run. Another rule. Running tells it, you know. We walked quickly, eyes forward, not looking into the trees, no matter how strong the urge was. At one point, the trail bent slightly, and I had the overwhelming sense that if I looked to my left, I'd see something standing where it shouldn't be. I didn't look. By the time we reached the car, my legs were burning, my mouth was dry, and my hands wouldn't stop shaking. We didn't talk until we were miles away, surrounded by traffic and noise and signs of people. Aaron finally said he thought he'd heard his mother's voice at one point during the night. I told him I'd heard my own words come back to me. Neither of us elaborated. We don't camp in Appalachia anymore, as some places don't need to hunt you. They just wait for you to forget the rules. Thanks for watching No Sleep Tonight. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It truly helps this channel grow. And if you want more unsettling stories, there are 2 more waiting for you on the screen right now. I'll see you in the next video. And until then, sleep well.